All right, welcome to another episode of It's Debatable NBA edition. We are back for another season. Do you know what season this is, sir?
Season 4, baby.
Season four. So we've been doing this for a couple of years now with the NBA. You've seen our other, shows that we do, WWE, NFL. Used to do battle rap. NBA is something that's been pretty much consistent though. And the season starts in about 2 weeks, so it's the perfect time to jump right back into it. And I want to start off with this. LeBron supposed to be doing an announcement tomorrow. Everyone's already speculating that this is about to be a retirement announcement. I already went to the comments. I already seen one of the comments say Jordan fans are smiling from ear to ear right now. So I'm not sure what's about to happen, but if that does happen, I'm gonna be crushed. So yeah, shout out to Braun. If it is his last season, just thank you for all the great years, all the great memories, man. Definitely pushed the league forward. I don't think we'll see another LeBron James. Shout out to him. Is there anything you just gotta say real quick about when you seen that post he made?
Man, that nigga's trolling, bro. He's not. Come on, bro. When we talking about a nigga with longevity, somebody that's been in the league damn near when fucking me and you barely know how to spell the word two. That's how long you been in the league. You think he's gonna slow down now? I think it's something else. I just sent you a post that says something about Prime Day. If Braun really wanted to retire, he would let it know before the season. No, I don't think he's gonna retire. Man. I think he
I
got
mean,
enough.
this kind of is before the season. It's not January.
So why go through all that media day? Why do all you know what I'm saying? But either
I
way,
don't know, but
either way, if it is or you know what I'm saying, shit, Father Time's undefeated though, but somehow, some way, he managed to weather the storm and still play at a high level too. So I always have respect for Braun for that. Just the way that he's always been throughout his career, maintaining a certain form of excellence. I look at it, feel me. One of my favorite moments. He brought me one of my favorite moments in basketball. Just watching that Game 7 of the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors too. I thought that feel me was one of the moments I'll always remember. You always know where you at. You always feel the emotion that you felt then because that was unbelievable. A 3-1 comeback. That's one of those things that when you watch, even as a kid, you be like, "Oh, I remember watching Game 7. That's the best finals that I think I ever seen too." So shout out to Braun in general, though. If it is the end of the road for him after the season, though, feel me, hell of a career, man. Me and you, the whole world talk about who's the GOAT, but at the end of the day, though, that's just somebody that you look when you think about basketball. That's just a household name. Somebody that's done a lot for this game. Somebody that took this game to another level too, as well too. So the league will look different, and it's just gonna be weird if you don't see Braun, suiting up. But time goes by, but at the same time, is you just gotta appreciate what we have. Because once Braun leaves, eventually KD leaves, Steph leaves, then
I don't give a fuck about no damn KD leaving the damn league, no damn Steph Curry. Like, the fuck? Don't loop those together. I don't give a fuck.
moving everything.
All right, but all jokes aside, LeBron, we'll talk to you tomorrow, nigga. But that wasn't really a part of the topic. That was just something that came out of nowhere. Just want to address that real quick. And even before we get into that, we're back now with the NBA. Sebastian is here, so Sebastian's gonna have the floor. I want you to explain to us what happened to Russell Westbrook.
Next question. Next question. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you. I can understand if you save this question but you asked me when we was doing football about what happened. I'm not doing this with you.
No, but that wasn't an NFL. I mean, that wasn't an NBA
Next
show.
question.
Like, so now we're on the NBA. I just want to know your opinion.
There ain't no opinion, bro. Russ is my guy, regardless if he's in the league or not, bro. You control all you want, bro. That's my guy. If he's not in the league, he's not in the league,
No,
man.
but that's not. I'm asking you why, in your opinion.
Listen, bro. Age has something to do with factor with it. You feel me? and he doesn't have the skill set suited
Wait,
fit to
what
the.
do you mean? Wait, how old is Russell Westbrook?
I
You
think he's
wouldn't.
like 35 years old.
How old?
35 years old.
Bro, he could go another 2, 3. No, 35 ain't. Like,
Listen, bro, I can't. That's what I'm saying. It's politics in the league, bro. If he was in the league, it is what it is, bro. You find this funny. I don't know why you find it funny. A man had a hell of a career. Now all of a sudden he's not in the league in year 15. Now it's hilarious.
okay, so we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, you're trolling hard, bro.
No, I'm not trolling. I don't even know
Oh,
why I'm laughing. Okay,
all right.
so
Get your shits and giggles.
you
Get your shits
said
and giggles, bro.
no. I'm being serious. You said it's politics. What do you mean by that? Break that down. What do you mean politics?
Bro, you see what he did for the Denver Nuggets in that last year in the playoffs, bro. Led the playoffs in
No,
bench
you
play.
going to so many different. Okay, hold on. Stay right there. What did I said? I seen what he did for the Nuggets. Um,
Here we go.
he was. He was. He contributed in parts. What do you mean by that? Like, I seen what he did for the Nuggets. What?
He brought the spark defensively. He had great timely stops in a couple games. In the nigga that's laughing, bro. You just laughing because it's Russell Westbrook, though. But everybody knows.
No, I'm not. I'm
Now you
laughing because of
know
what
because
you're
he's
saying. Nigga
laughing,
said he made timely stop.
in game one, did he not get a timely stop against James Harden?
Okay. And
You
what you're saying is that based off his performance with the Denver Nuggets, you feel he should have been re-signed by the Nuggets. You're saying
not necessarily signed by the Nuggets. I think he has a spot in it. I think Russell Westbrook could go on any fucking team right now.
where? Like, give us a destination. What makes sense?
All 30 teams right now in the NBA. Yes.
Seb,
No, I'm so
I'm
dead ass.
trying to give you the floor to be saying all 30 teams need
All
Russell
30 teams,
Westbrook.
bro. You telling me players that are on a two-way contract, players that are on a vet minimum, there's like 400 and what 20 basketball players in the
I
NBA.
can't think. See, you're being biased. I can't think of a team that needs him.
I wouldn't.
Who? Like, what's the team? Where?
Milwaukee Bucks. That's the
No, like, and I say no because he's not a floor space ready to have Giannis. No, I don't see how that works. No, I don't.
you don't.
No,
The thing is, when you're a great basketball player, you can work in any system.
no, and that's not okay. See, we're not being real. Okay, so because everything you're saying, I want to back with a fact. So you're saying now any great player can figure out how to work anywhere. Okay, so he went to the Lakers and played with one of the top two best players of all time and made play and who's known for making players better. It didn't work out there, but what was the problem with that?
Nobody was healthy. I, I told you that, and we can look back, and this is why I love the NBA, and this is why we've been doing this for some time now. My thing was that nobody was on the floor. Anthony Davis barely played games. Bron barely played games. Russ was the only one that played him out of games, and yeah, he stuck him to joint because of floor spacing and things like that. But at the same time, is Russell Westbrook now he knows his role more than ever. And last year, feeding off of Jokic, he did what he was supposed to do as a player. He came off the bench. He brought spots defensively. He wasn't the best 3-point shooter, but he had timely shots. I seen Russ revitalize his career in Denver more than he did within the Clippers and the Lakers. I'll put it at that too. And when watching him on Denver made me think that he could definitely do something in this league still. And that's all I have to say about that too. So if he doesn't get picked up on the team, I look back at all the good moments. Me personally, I don't care if he gets on the team or not, though, because at the end of the day, that's somebody that brought me joy to the game. And when I'm watching it, filming, he never cheated the game, nothing like that, bro. So you could sit here and laugh about, oh, he's not in the league. Like, yeah, bro, like, not real shit, bro. I'm speaking for Russell Westbrook fan in general, but regardless if he's not on the team or not, bro, that nigga has done more than enough to be a Hall of Famer, bro. It's fair
Don't
play.
don't shoot. It wasn't me. He said it wasn't me.
Was
I,
it
I I didn't drop him from the team. Oh man! All right, we just had to get that out the way. You knew that was coming. I'll let you live. All right, so let's move on now to the actual topics because we got to talk about players and teams, right? And people who are in the league, not people who can't get signed. So I want to ask you, which team won the NBA offseason in your opinion and why?
To me, the team that won the NBA offseason is the Denver Nuggets. When I actually look at
For
it,
getting rid of Russ. I don't know where that came. My bad. What? Hey, I'm gonna go on mute. My
yeah, it's funny when you do it once or twice, but after a while, it's just cringe. But we'll say that. So yeah, like I was saying, the Denver Nuggets definitely added more depth into their lineup by adding a backup big in Jonas Valanciunas, somebody that within a regulation of maybe a 15 to 20 minute span off the bench can give you some form of rebounding and all type of offensive prowess too as well. You address your situation with a 3-and-D player by getting rid of Michael Porter Jr. and adding in Cam Johnson, who has somewhat of a similar game, plays better defense, a little more mobile than Michael Porter Jr., knows how to swing the rock too when it's a kick out three. I think that definitely helps. You bring back a guy like Bruce Brown too as well, somebody that was there for you. That was a major piece for them in their championship run within, I believe, what was it, 2023. There's a major piece for them. Somebody that plays defense, works well with Jokic, can hit timely threes and things of that nature too. And then you add in another floor spacer with Tim Hardaway, somebody who's a streaky shooter, but when he gets it going on, can shoot lights out with the best of them. So I think you addressed it to depth. Definitely more so helps Jokic when he doesn't have his starters in within the Jamal Murrays of the world, the Aaron Gordons of the world, things of that nature too. So now you just added more depth to a Jokic team that who likes facilitating, who likes getting the ball to these players too as well. And I think that's just going to make a recipe for a team that can make another run to the finals too. Expanding on Jokic, you have one of the best players in the NBA, so you want to put the right pieces around him too. And I think that's exactly what this front office took the time in doing. And just after the fallout they had last season with just firing the coach before the playoff starts, all this discombobulation within the franchise, they found a way just to dig deep within this postseason, in the off season, and make moves that kind of make sense. It makes sense when I look at the pieces because I'm looking at it. So if you tell me you added Tim Hardaway with a Jokic draws two, kicks out to a spot shooter. Boom. If not, you could swing to the next shooter. That's a 3-and-D player, and then Cam Johnson. Yeah, he'll shoot a couple threes, but yeah, he'll guard one of your best permanent players too as well. So I look at it as that as well. Oh, we don't have a big that's offensive prowess. We had DeAndre Jordan that was a great pick and roll lob threat. Cool. Now we add in a guy, Jonas Valanciunas, that if I give him the ball down low on the block, he can make something happen. He can space the floor out a little, a suitable big that could be in the backup position too. So I'm looking at all the moves they made. It made quite frankly sense too. So I think that they were just the biggest winners of the of the offseason thus far.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna pick. I feel like that's who the world picked, and I think that's really the only real right answer. Just for all the points you made, you was able to trade away Michael Porter Jr. right with all that money he had on his books, and then was able to bring in these players like a Cam Johnson, right? Like you said, like a Jonas Valanciunas, the Bruce Browns of the world, the Tim Hardaway Jr.'s. These are all people that's going to benefit from playing with Jokic. Jokic is a top five, top three player in the NBA as of right now, and has that sort of LeBron effect to where he makes everyone better. So I expect the Nuggets to be a top three seed going into next season, and for MVP, I said for MVP for Jokic to be in the MVP considerations. And just once again, so then I feel like the next team you really say what is the Atlanta Hawks, right? What was able to obtain Nikhil Alexander Walker. That is a 3-and-D guy, a guy that you could try to hide now Trey Young on defense and have him pick up that other teams just best guard. So I like that move. They was able to bring in Kristaps Porzingis, another 3-and-D dude who could space the floor, able to block shots, can be in that pick and roll with Trey Young. We seen what Trey Young did with Clint Capella. I will be interested to see what he could do with a Kristaps Porzingis now. Playing devil's advocate, right? People is gonna say, "Oh well, just look, he wasn't healthy in this playoff run. His career, he's never been healthy." It's better than some of the pieces that the Hawks have had before, right? It seemed like the Hawks went on that run where they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then after that, they just was never able to get that spark back. It's because they just didn't have the necessary pieces to make that kind of run. So just with those two additions right there alone, I definitely think that this is going to be a team in the East that can make some noise. We already know in the Eastern Conference, there's not a lot of. powerhouse teams, especially now with the Boston Celtics just being, plagued just due to injury and then just making the moves that they made. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I would say if we're talking about a team in the East, I would say the Hawks. Um but I think if you really want to be technical, and I'm not even trying to be biased, I think you can also say the Lakers, right? And it's not about even picking up a DeAndre Ayton. It's not about getting a Marcus Smart or a Jake LaRavia, but Luca re-signing with the team, right? I think that was a important date the Lakers had circled on their calendar this summer because that was very, very important. Remember, you gave away your best player, your second best player, wherever you view him, in Anthony Davis to Dallas to acquire Luka Doncic. If you do all that and then he doesn't even re-sign with your team, I don't even know where you really go from there because I've been on the record saying this over like the last 3 to 4 years. LeBron James just can't single-handedly just will you to the finals anymore. That was a time period to where he could do that, but unless now he has those pieces that could really help him get through the regular season, it's just not going to work out. So Luca re-signing, I think, makes the Lakers the winners of the offseason because now you have him for the next couple of seasons. And I think what they're going to try to do is try to either pair him when that time comes with the Giannis Antetokounmpo or a Nikola Jokic. That's a duo that I've just wanted to see since both of them have been in their MVP forms. A Luca and Jokic pairing, I think, would tear the league down. I think would have LA in a frenzy. And I think this was the right chess move at first to re-sign Luka Doncic. So I would say the Lakers. And is there any other teams you think also had a very good off season? I know we only picked one, but I feel like there was a lot of different moves.
Um, to me, my second pick would be the New York Knicks too, as well. I think just what they've done off season, addressing their bench issue, firing Tom Thibodeau and bringing in Mike Brown, somebody who does utilize his bench. When I look back at Mike Brown, when his first year with the Sacramento Kings, when they went off to that hot start, they finished third in the fucking West. You remember the light the beams thing? They was going crazy over there. I think that he dug well deep into his bench, didn't wasn't afraid to put out different pieces out there too. And I think just the fact that they seen that the type of culture bringing in, we have to bring in the type of players that kind of matches his system. So just bringing in guys like what's it called Jordan Clarkson, somebody that's a former six man of the year, somebody that's a streaky player that when he gets going offensively, he puts up. Bringing in a guy like Malcolm Brogdon too, somebody that's low risk due to his health and issues, but another former six man of the year when he was with Boston too as well. Too, you bring that type of player in. Your Gershon Yabusele, somebody that just got back in the league, but due to all the injuries that happened in the Philadelphia 76ers, he had got to show what he's fully capable of and showing that he could bring some type of promise to a team. So I'm looking at just addressing the bench too. You don't really tweak with the lineup in the starting lineup though, but you just bring back certain players, and then you bring in certain players that maybe you could add on. Now Brunson doesn't have to play on ball fully. Now you have a guy that could play off ball, while somebody like a guy Malcolm Brogdon can make plays for others too as well. A guy like Jordan Clarkson could take the scoring load off of Jalen Brunson or Cat or in that nature too. So it's just a good mix. That the only reason why I'm in first two is because I got to see how it all plays out though. But I'm very interested to see how this Knicks bench, how the depth they have now can really help this team to where now guys like fucking Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges is not playing a whole fucking 48 minutes of basketball. Now they have some time to breathe and let others get a little bit shine off the bench.
Right, the Knicks made a lot of moves. I think they might have made the most moves if you talk about just signing players and things of that nature. But I think they made the right moves, definitely, widen out that bench. We seen in that series against Indiana last season to where Rick Carlisle was kind of, in my opinion, coaching circles around Tom Thibodeau. We seen players like Thomas Bryant on the floor and making a total impact, right? And people kept getting on Tom saying, you gotta play these dudes because we seen forgot what game it was to where I think that might have been game six to where it was over already. Landry Shamet just started making all these threes and it was too little too late. Right?
True.
So, Tom Thibodeau is not there no more. Like you said, they have brought in Mike Brown. He's high energy. We all know from his stint in Sacramento. Has coached Kobe Bryant, has coached LeBron James. So has been all around the league, been in the league for a long time. Also, was that assistant coach under Steve Kerr, to where they have one of the most prolific offensive. So he took a lot of those things to your point with Sacramento. And that first year, they made magic. But yeah, the Knicks is definitely going to be a top three, top four seed based off talent and also just based off injuries, just in that Eastern Conference. People are saying it's the year for the Knicks to finally make that finals run. I'll be interested to see if they can, get it done. But yeah, they were also one of the winners the off season. So now moving on, let's talk about the Houston Rockets. Right, they made one of the biggest moves in the offseason, signing Kevin Durant. Right, but about a week or two ago, they lost Fred Van Fleet for the whole season. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was it, like a torn ACL, something like that?
Yeah, I believe torn ACL.
I just know it was a lower body injury. Once again, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but believe it was a torn ACL. That was their playing guard that they were going to depend on to and just, and I feel like I seen Gilbert Arenas say this, and that's someone I look to for, their insights and how he breaks down the game. I learned a lot from that, but matter. You just put the ball in cage. I don't think Kevin Durant wants to do that for the entire season and then try to do that all in the playoffs. He's an older player and he's going to need help. Right? I don't know, but one of the factors I would believe him going to Houston, he'll have the help. He has those young dudes that want to play all those 82 games and things like that. So I would expect for him to try to lean on these other dudes. So they have that point guard spot open. Now obviously they have Reed Shepard on the roster, and I'm a Reed Shepard fan. Didn't really get the burn like that last season, just due to just due to Ime Udoka part just wanting him to learn under Fred Van Fleet and really learn the system, learn the offense, and really see what he has. He's going to be put to the test now, especially if they don't obtain any other type of point guard. But it was the once again, it was the biggest signing. Them signing Kevin Durant. A lot of people are saying this is their pick to win it all. It is not mine. I need to see how this team looks. I need to see what progression has Shangoon made. I did see a little bit of it when he was just playing in FIBA, so he did look good. People are saying he is the next well, the next closest thing to like a Nikola Jokic type build and archetype, I do see a lot of the resemblance. Shout out to the Thompson kid, right? One of the best defenders, best athletes in the league. I've seen multiple players now say that in interviews. So they have good pieces, but I'm interested to see what do they do with that point guard position. How do you feel about Houston right now?
So for Houston right now, that's another team that I think that just kind of slipped our mind. That did go shopping, that did make moves in the offseason too. Bringing in two backup bigs too, and a guy like Clint Capella. They brought him in just for insurance policy too as well, and re-signing Steven Adams, somebody I think had a great role for them too when they were going against the Golden State Warriors too. Definitely seen a lot of starter minutes too as well. But other than that, though, I think they brought it around with just 3-and-D guys like a Dorian Finney-Smith too as well. So they have a lot of bit of height and size too. But for the guard play too, and I know you mentioned a guy like Reed Shepard, but I'm leaning more towards an Aaron Holiday. I'm gonna trust a Holiday on this one because I just feel like Aaron Holiday as somebody that's been swept on the rug though, but has been a backup point guard for most teams too. And I feel like if given the right amount of time and role, he definitely can help this team just, get by with games. You're not going to ask him to do too much. Not going to ask him to be the Fred Van Vliet of the world, give a shootout like fucking make 5 threes a game or nothing like that. But I do feel like this kid is solid enough to where he can have a role temporarily till you find that solid point guard to where you sign for in the free agency market, whether it be like a Ben Simmons or something like that. Somebody that you just need to find in the meantime too. Because I don't know who you're gonna have as starting point guard now. I don't know if you make fucking Amen Thompson a point guard and just fully unleash him, see what he's capable of doing as a facilitator, as a passer. But to me, it would be for the most part Aaron Holiday right now. But as far as this team go, I think they'll relatively still be good. You have the size and you still have the depth for this team. I'm looking at a guy like Tari Easton, who comes in as that energetic 3-and-D type of player too as well. You still got a guy like Jason Tate, not too sold on him too, somebody that's been relatively for this team for the most part too, so knows what the Udoka, Ime Udoka system is like too. So I'm looking at it. They'll still be, in playoff contention though. I think if you have a talent like Kevin Durant, and then you still have a guy like Shangun, who, for the most part, we said is going to be the next Jokic. Like you said, has an impressive highlights with the Turkey team. I've seen him, take a step up, be more assertive and me aggressive in the post. Definitely look like he's worked on his game throughout the offseason in the post for the most part. They should be good too. You have younger pieces around Kevin Durant, very agile, get up and down the floor, likes to run, likes to defend at a high rate, is demanded by Ime Udoka to really just, perform out there. Ime Udoka, somebody that really just, and once he has a philosophy and sunset in mind, he wants that out of his players too. And if you don't fit that, then you can't play. Simple as that too. So they're going to be relatively good for the most part, though. Now, if we're talking championship expectations too, I just don't know because like we said, there's teams that's still competing. We still got the Minnesota Timberwolves, we still got the reigning defending champions in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Lucas fucking went on Ozempic. So you still got those teams too. So I'm going to take a close look at them this season to see where they
Watch
stand.
your watch your mouth. Go ahead, just watch
And
your mouth. And watch your mouth.
okay, you can take it out you want to. It's a good thing.
Well,
Yeah,
he worked. He worked out. I don't know about no Ozempic, but
bro. That's Ozempic.
okay.
But yeah, but so I just want to see how they match up against marquee matchup teams too. And I'd even say the Golden State Warriors too as well too. That's the team I feel like is just going to compete too, just off the strength of having Jimmy Butler. But yeah, but for the most part, for the Houston Rockets though, I think there's a team that now you're just gonna have to see how well they match up against these teams due to the fact that they're not at full contention now without their starting point guard who does, put a lot of points up for them offensively too, in my opinion. But other than that though, they should be all right.
Yeah, I love Ime Udoka as their coach, so I definitely think they'll get through the regular season and probably be a top five, top six seed. Um, yeah, we just gotta see how things shake out though. But that Fred Van Fleet loss, I definitely think will hurt in the long run. So, and then I see you brought up the Ben Simmons point. I've lost words for Ben Simmons. Shout out to Ben, but yeah. Listen, I'm not even gonna say that either. Shout out.
Yeah, I think you was gonna say.
I'm not even gonna say it. But I ain't,
Reunion.
this guy said retarded.
At the family reunion.
Yeah, no,
We
no, that no. I don't want to see no damn family I already seen his last. I already seen his last stint in Houston. I wasn't impressed. So let's move on to. Yeah, you can try to gaslight me. It ain't gonna work. Let's move on to the next topic. The Celtics, right? Playoffs last season, going up against the New York Knicks. Very anticipated series, right? New York was on tilt. Celtics were the favorite in the series. The Knicks win game one. The Knicks win game two. And then after that, it was just all downhill. Jason Tatum gets, injured in like game 4 or 5.
four.
Right in game four. The Knicks were, I think, believe up 6 or 8 anyway. So no one's saying that if he, was healthy, they would have won that series. It seemed like the Knicks were just outplaying them in every facet. But Jason Tatum, top 5 player in the league, when healthy. He's someone that isn't going to be there. I'm seeing a lot of speculation. I think I seen the report the other day. He could be back by January. This just isn't an injury you want to rush back from, even though modern medicine is better than it was back in the day. But they lose him. Jalen Brown is going to be that number one option now. Interested to see how he looks as that number one guy. Um, they trade away Porzingis, right? They who else they gave away, Sam? Thought I'm missing somebody.
So they lost Porzingis. They lost Luke Cornett. He's with this
Ah, no, no, and Drew Holiday.
Drew
That
Holiday too as
right.
well.
That's the person that I was thinking of. So you lost your 3 and D guy that kind of helped you win that championship. You lose Porzingis, who can definitely help a lot of NBA teams. Like you just said, Luke Cornett. Well, I think it was game 3 to where he had that crazy game to where he definitely got his money worth signing with the San Antonio Spurs. But they bring in Anthony Simons, right? You still have Derek White. Just how do you feel about the Celtics right now, and just how they shook up their roster?
So for the most part, when I'm watching the Celtics team, I think they stepped away from just anything defense related too. I think right now they brought more offensive talent too. I think if you're gonna start a guy like Payne Pritchard, you know what you're giving up defensively, but you also know what you gain offensively. And the same for Anthony Simons. I think just Anthony Simons is just a low risk, high reward type of player right now, to where we do know Anthony Simons, once he's comfortable, can get off offensively too, but we never seen it in a result to winning basketball too. I think this year just gonna show us where Anthony Simons rank as a player when he's on a playoff caliber team too. So he will be a support for Jaylen Brown and Derek White too. I feel like those are your two focal points within this Celtics offense too. And I got to see where they're gonna get offensive from in the center position too, because you lost two of your centers too, three actually. Sorry, three. You lost Al Horford, Luke Cornett, and you lose Porzingis too. So I want to see. I don't know how to pronounce this kid name. Number 88 for the Celtics. A pick and roll threat. I don't know what we're gonna see out of him. I'm just gonna have to wait and see too as well. But other than that, there's a couple question marks I do have for the Celtics too. But one thing I'm not gonna question is just Brad Stevens' ability to bring in certain type of players too as well, draft players and build up these certain type of players too. So I'm not gonna count out the Celtics for just not being in the playoffs or anything of that nature too, because you still have Jaylen Brown and Derek White too, and Peyton Pritchard, who's somebody that's been there in the locker room for quite some time as well. So it's just question marks around the Celtics that the only they can answer for the most part, and then we'll see what they're fully capable of too. And as your point as well too, for Jason Tatum returning in January, I don't rush nothing like that too. I 100%, I 1,000% agree with you. There's no fucking rush. First of all, you want to see where your team is at by January, and usually around like the first like 3 months, you could tell whether your team is going to be all right. We're going to be at the top of our conference. We're going to be midline, maybe fourth through sixth seed, or it is going to be a playing team. You could tell yourself that. You could further evaluate your team like that. And if you're not in, and if you're in a position to where you sticking up the joint in Boston, there's no fucking reason for you to even have an idea of just bringing back Tatum. If you're on top of the conference without him, you do that. But if you're fighting for a plane, you let that man rest for a season, bro. You don't rush back certain type of injuries, and that type of Achilles tear injuries too. We seen Kevin Durant bounce back from it, Klay Thompson bounce back from it, but it's not something that you just play with. And I think right now, Jason Tatum is just one of those assets to where he's too high valued for this organization for you to even try to rush him back to make what maybe a mid move. If you have a guaranteed team, you lock that in. If not, you don't rush that. You definitely don't rush that too. You let Jaylen Brown see what you got. Jaylen Brown, is he really a player that could be your first option? You know what I'm saying? You let him get comfortable. You let him take over the load, and then you slowly integrate Jason Tatum back maybe next year. But you let Jaylen Brown get the experience of being a 1-8 player, a fucking first option player, the superstar of the team, and you work through him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Once again, like I said, I want to see what Jalen Brown does with this opportunity. Because it's not like it's for a week or 2 weeks or even a month. It's gonna be primarily for the whole season. So we're really gonna see what he's made of. Um, yeah, if I don't know what this Tatum thing like. Listen, it ain't like back in the day, like like I said, just with recovery time and things like that. I'm already seeing Damian Lillard back in the court, right? I seen Jason Tatum getting up and down the court. So who knows, right? Once again, just with today's modern medicine, but you just don't want to set back your franchise even more. So you just got to be very cautious with that. For anybody that's trying to say the Celtics won't make the playoffs, that's completely asinine. That's a horrendous take. I can't see this season going to where the Celtics don't make the playoffs, especially with the addition with the play in. They still have decent players. Derek White, if not the best two-way player, is one of the best two-way players in the league for what his contract is. Like you said, you have Peyton Pritchard that can go off for 30 on any given night. You have Jalen Brown. You're gonna have Anthony Simons, so they'll figure it out, and especially coached by what's his name again?
Joe Mazzulla.
There you go, Joe Mazzulla. I definitely like some of the schemes that he draws up. He's very creative. I heard a lot of players talk about the type of practices that he has. That the people that like I heard that they're doing a scrimmage, the team that wins, they're the one that has to run because you should be rewarded with running. So I think that's the type of coach to where he's always gonna have you prepared, always gonna have you ready, and I think the Celtics are gonna be okay. But moving on to another team in the Eastern Conference, we're gonna talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, right? We seen Miles Turner leave Indiana and join them. There was a lot of speculation in the offseason what Giannis is going to do. Is he going to ask for a trade? Is he going to want to leave? We've seen him, shout out to I Show Speed. He went on, that streaming platform and definitely said that he's going to be staying here. So, he loves Milwaukee. I'm pretty sure he got ties in the community, ties with the city. Probably got the key to the damn city. Um, yeah, the Bucks, they just have an abundance of dudes. And there's not really a second like who if Miles Turner is your second best player, I don't know what you can really do. Um he's a good 3 and D guy, can space the floor, can block shots, pick and roll threat, lob threat, all that good stuff. But him as your second best dude, because you have the Cole Anthony's of the world. You got the Kevin Porter Juniors of the world, the Bobby Portises, Kyle Kuzma. And we seen what Kyle Kuzma gave them last season. He was just looking like he was still working for Washington. So
Give them a lot.
yeah, he was giving them a,
Dog shit.
a lot of steps on the court, a lot of squeaking from those shoes. But I don't. There was a playoff game. I think he had zeros all across the board. But they're gonna need him to try to step up. This team is just. I think they'll. I think they'll make the playoffs. It might have to go through the play in. Um, yeah, the Bucks just. I don't think they did the right thing with this whole Damian Lillard thing. I think they literally pressed the panic button. Um, yeah, the Bucks is just the Bucks.
Uh, I put no stock into the Bucks. Losing to Brook Lopez, getting rid of Damian Lillard, re-signing Bobby Portis, bringing in Miles Turner. I guess your front court is cool, but for the guard play, I'm not putting no stock into Kyle Kuzma, Kevin Porter. To me, he's a talented player. Don't get me wrong though, but you're putting him in a position now to where you expect him to perform on a night to night basis to help this team win, and I just don't think that is best suited for him. And no disrespect to Kevin Porter too. I'm a fan of his game, what's all that. But I just think this team right now is subpar. Like if I could look through the Bucks roster right now, and we're just gonna take a glance at this Bucks roster. Giannis, Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma, Cole Anthony, Kevin Porter, Gary Harris, who I thought was out the league, bro. I thought Gary Harris was out the
Shout
league.
out to Gary Harris when he came into the league. One of my favorite players. Shout out to Gary Harris.
Bro, you don't only have one Gary. You have two Gary. You have Gary Harris and Gary Trent. So when they're both on the floor, like what the fuck? How does that work? You got Ryan Rollins. You brought back the Nassus.
Who?
So, yep, my point exactly.
Ryan Hollins?
Yep, you brought the Nassus back. You got
Shout out to
AJ Green,
Thanasis.
Amir Coffey, Jericho Sims, Chris Levin. I'm looking at this team from head to toe, bro. This team is trash, bro. I'm sorry.
Who?
This team is trash, bro. They'll win some games. Don't get me wrong. They'll win some games, but You don't do that to Giannis, bro. You don't do that, bro. You don't do that, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm looking at this paper. I'm looking at this team on paper. If somebody gave me this team on paper a year ago before the season started, I would have thought Giannis would ask for a trade. But I respect loyalty in today's NBA. It's rare that you see a person ride out his tenure with a team. But in reality, that team is
Yeah, I
you
think I seen a report that him
that team,
and
bro.
no, I was just saying real quick. I think I seen a report that him and Devin Booker are like the only players like left right now in the NBA that's been with a team for like 10 seasons straight.
And Steph.
No, but Steph wasn't in it, so I forget what the exact thing was. But they just said Devin Booker and and Giannis. But yeah, the Bucks is just gonna be the Bucks. Like I said, I think they'll find a way in just based off Giannis, because Giannis is gonna be top five in MVP votes. He is one of those kind of dudes. He'll win you about 40 games on his own. Like if we're just gonna be honest, I think that's just gonna be enough to be a play-in team. But wait, who's still coaching them? Still, is it my boy Doc?
It has to be Doc. And they ain't fired. They ain't fired.
Oh Lord!
They
So
ain't fired Doc
another
yet.
another season of Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. Like,
Hands
oh
in the pocket, him.
yeah. So shout out to Milwaukee. Moving on, the last topic for this part one of the off season recap. Like I said, we will have a part two tomorrow. This is just part one. It's gonna finish. We kind of spoke about this a little bit earlier, but we seen Luca re-sign with the Lakers. LeBron picks up his option to remain in LA. Right, we seen them in the preseason looking like trash for the most part. Bronny James is gonna be another year in the league. You got the Dalton Connect to the world, right? They signed DeMarcus Smart, signed Jake LaRavia. He was able to bring in DeAndre Ayton. Now there isn't no snow in LA, so I don't want to hear no report that he can't get to the game because it's snowing outside. I don't know where that came from last year, but if I see anything even remotely close to that, I'm gonna punch him in the face my damn self. So I need him to make sure that he's locked in. Um, just my thoughts. You already know I think the Lakers are gonna win the championship, and that's not gonna nothing in the world's gonna change my mind. Luca, skinny Luca, Seb tried to throw in an Ozempic claim, which I think is blasphemous. I think my boy been in that gym. He on that LeBron diet, eating them kale chips. But shout out to Luca. Seems like he's taking it serious. He has looked good in the off season. Just playing in those FIBA games. Yeah, LeBron will be back for another season. Hopefully, it is not his last. But Luca, LeBron, I'm seeing at least top 60. I think we'll get a better version of DeAndre Ayton as the season presumes. You give LeBron a big to play with. Luca, right? Having that big man. Um, we still got Jackson Hayes, who I thought gave good minutes, and I won't for JJ Redick. I'm gonna just bring this up again because I fuck with JJ Redick. I really do. But I don't know what convinced you in that game 5 to not play Jackson Hayes and you let Rudy Gobert look like Wilt Chamberlain.
Hee hee.
I will never forget that game. I was heartbroken and that cannot happen again. All right. I don't know where that idea came from. Don't do no shit like that again. All right. But Sam, how you feeling about the Lakers right now?
When I look at the Lakers team, I think this is another year in the JJ Redick system to where they did win you 50 games when the Luca and Brown was both healthy. They was on a run until I guess Brown had his hamstring injury in that Boston Celtics game. And I think that's where everybody started getting the confusion. But other than that, though, when you look at that pairing, that's just a match made in heaven, too. Two high IQ players that kind of feed off each other. Now you have Luka Doncic, who you could just relieve the offense to and really take you to a win. I think when you add in a guy like DeAndre Ayton, this could really revitalize his career and really just help him this far, depending how far he wants to take it to. My only concern is just how well would they play defensively. You know, I still have allegations of Luca defensively too. I don't know if he's a little more mobile defensively now that he's taken off the weight and worked more on his cardio. I think defense is really an effort thing. How well do you take it on your assignments and just good rotation? I think DJ Redick will address all that. I'm not worried about that for the most part. I think just the addition of Marcus Smart too, when he gets fully healthy, that definitely does add on to your defensive prowess as a team and somebody that could be an occasional floor spacer. So I'm looking at that as well. I'm paying attention. I'm watching the preseason game. Gabe Vincent, you better save that shooting for the regular season and for the postseason because they're gonna need all that too. I think Gabe Vincent too. This is what his third year with the Lakers.
Yeah.
This is gonna be year three. We're waiting for something, bro. We haven't seen you do shit since Miami. So I think this is going to be another person that's going to be utilized too as well. But when I'm looking at the team overall, I think they fit out a bunch of check marks. I just want to see it all come into fruition too, because you got the score within Luca and Reeves. You got versatile defenders within Bron, within Jared Vanderbilt, Marcus Smart. You might have secret shooting within Jake Laravia kid within his time in Memphis and Sacramento. I definitely seen a little bit of flashes to that. That's a little bit of investment. And yeah, for the big man position, you have Aiden that kind of can give you points, can get his own buckets too. Works well with that mid range, likes a little face up to the basket type of player. And then Jackson Hayes, who's the complete opposite, who's a serious tenacious shot blocker and a rebounding threat, as well as a lob threat too. So you kind of have very versatile. You're very versatile in offense and defense for this team. It's just about making it all work and help. So I'm excited to see the Lakers this season too. I think that they kind of familiar with who they are as a team. You kind of have Reeves, who knows who he is as a player. Hachi Moore has been within the system now for I believe 4 years now, so he's very comfortable and suited in his position too as well. And Jared Vanderbilt too, another huge asset. This is actually his first year going to training camp healthy. Dealing with a bunch of injuries too. So all that goes together. We should see an excited Lakers team.
Yeah, yeah, you brought up a good point. Just coming into the season healthy. Shout out to Jared Vanderbilt. That's somebody who, when he was healthy, and he was in that second round series against Golden State 2 seasons ago, that was someone that was able to switch on to a Steph Curry, right, and or Clay Thompson and make the game tough for them. And those were the two of the best shooters that we've seen in NBA history. So we're definitely gonna need him if we're gonna go on a run. I'm interested to see what kind of moves that will be made throughout the season. I don't think the roster going in will be the final roster. I would expect some type of a trade. Um, just depending on how the season go. But yeah, the Lakers, man. Lala, the Lake Show. I can't wait to start watching these games again. I miss the announcers. I miss the fans. I miss the energy. NBA season is back. I believe the first game the Lakers have is against the Golden State Warriors. Another LeBron versus Steph matchup for the betters. Watch for that game. Whenever LeBron plays Steph Curry, they put up crazy stats. Just go in on that game. I'm trying to tell y'all something. You have to catch certain games when they're hot. When LeBron plays Steph, they put up crazy numbers. You parlay them together, and there you go. You'll have something going into Thanksgiving. You'll be able to buy that turkey. Trying to tell y'all something right now.
As long as you in that turkey, that's all that matters.
But yeah, the NBA is back because preseason has been going on, right? No, it's gonna be on some different platforms this season. Shout out to NBC. Shout out to Peacock. I still will not forgive the NBA for what they have done to inside the NBA. Right? I seen Charles Barkley talking on Bill Simmons' podcast saying that he still don't know what's going on with their show. Right? So that is disrespectful. And y'all need to figure that shit out. There's nothing better than it was when it was NBA on TNT. And no matter even if your team won or lost, you got to hear Ernie, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny. They just talking their shit. Shaq freaking coming at Chuck and Kenny just being gaslighting everybody. Ernie being the Godfather, man. We gotta figure this out. I like these teams they're putting together. The NBC crew, right? You got the Carmelo Anthony's of the world and the Jamal Crawford. Shout out to Taylor Rooks and all that stuff. Dirk Nowitzki. You got all these ex players. Great. I'm not mad at that. But if something's not if something's not broke, there's no reason to fix it. And y'all kind of just did some nut shit. So I need to see what y'all do with that. All right, we gotta have the right people covering it, man.
Facts,
So Adam Silver, we coming for you, nigga. Shout out,
motherfucker.
shout out to Booker T.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so that's it. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with part two. There's a couple more things we got to recap with the all season. Next week, I'm looking to do now like a prediction episode. Or how are these teams actually fare? What record are they looking at? MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Six Man of the Year, Coach of the Year, Key Clutch Player of the Year. All of that good stuff. We're looking to do a special type of episode. Be on the lookout for details and developments. um, is there anything else you had to say, Seb, for this part one?
Nah, just wait for part two.
Follow us on all social media platforms at It's Debatable double underscore. Follow me at Justin Jones on Facebook for details and developments. I told them once, these motherfuckers scared in front of motherfucking Lou. That's how a motherfucker play. Beat me. Can you believe what these motherfuckers said? I must have slipped, failed, and bummed your motherfucking. Be motherfucking magic, nigga.